We're just about ready to move forward. And you warned me this time. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brian Fisher, the manager of the Media Relations Division for the Prince George's County Police Department. And today we have important updates on homicides that occurred over the weekend. Joining us with more information are Prince George's County Chief of Police George Nader, Prince George's County Executive Aisha Braveboy, State's Attorney Tara Jackson, Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Public Safety and Homeland Security Melvin Powell, and from the U.S. Marshals Capital Area Regional Fugitive Task Force, Acting Assistant Chief Inspector Tristan Martin, and U.S. Marshal Clinton Fuchs. First, I'd like to introduce our Chief of Police, George Nader.
Good afternoon. As always, thank you all for coming out. So we have a lot of information to share. A lot of this information is going to be convoluted. So really, if you have questions at the end, we'll try to bring you some clarity. But these are two different incidents that have multifaceted outcomes and different people involved. So if you could stick with me, we'll go over the first one. So Saturday, January 3rd, just after 2 a.m., we responded to the 4300 block of St. Barnabas Road for a shooting. Once on the scene, officers discovered 3 people, 2 of which were pronounced dead on the scene. 1 was transported to a hospital and died while en route. The individuals that were on the scene that we located, the first male that was deceased is an adult male identified as Pierre Shahid Davis out of Washington, D.C. The second, Kevon Jerome Medley Williams, also out of Washington, D.C. And the third, Ranez Taquan Proctor out of Waldorf, Maryland. Based on investigation, we made an arrest in this case, and we charged with one of the murders, the murder of Ranez Taquan Proctor. The individual charged in that case is Antonio Lamont Lancaster, who's of Laurel, Maryland. He was apprehended in Fairfax County with the assistance of the United States Marshals and the assistance of Fairfax County Police. I'd like to take a second to thank our partners for the assistance. It means a lot when law enforcement comes together to get dangerous individuals off our streets. So what happened in this case, there was an event at the location, which is a banquet hall. At some point towards the end of the event, there was a dispute that occurred inside. The parties that were involved in the dispute are the individuals that I named. They went outside. 3 of those individuals willingly participated in the gunfight. So the people that were involved in the gunfight was Pierre Davis, Kevon Medley Williams, and Antonio Lamont Lancaster. Pierre Davis and Kevon Williams, we believe, killed one another in that gunfight. And then a side dispute happened, and that's when Antonio Lamont Lancaster murdered Ranez Taquan Proctor. Mr. Lancaster has been charged with first-degree and second-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and various gun-related charges associated with this incident. On that incident, we recovered 2 handguns. We're still doing a lot of work to shore this case up. There's a lot of people to talk to. We know that there were 3 guns on scene. We're still looking to recover 1 of those. So with that case, we're waiting on extradition from Fairfax County. Once we get that, we'll move forward with the prosecutorial phase, and state's attorney can talk a little bit more about what that looks like. The second incident happened Sunday, January 4th. This is a series of incidents. So 50 Watkins Park Drive, just about 7 o'clock in the morning, we receive a call for a male unresponsive in a vehicle. We get on that scene. We locate a 65-year-old victim who's pronounced deceased. from gunshot wound. About 12 hours later, we receive a call in the area of 12,000 block of Campbellton Drive for a shooting and a carjacking. We get on that scene, we recover a vehicle that was carjacked, and we find one adult male shot in the leg. Shortly after that, we respond to the 1300 block of Campbellton Lane, where we have another person, an adult female, who was shot in a similar fashion. She was shot in the stomach. Both of those individuals were transported to nearby hospitals in critical condition, but we're waiting and hoping for a recovery on that. Shortly thereafter, officers on the scene who are here with me from District 2, I'd like to thank PFC Heyman in particular for your bravery and responding to the area where shots were fired. And we located another vehicle that had been shot, but we located a suspect. So that person of interest was taken into custody. A weapon was recovered. It's a 7.26 or 7.6 rifle. So kind of similar to what an AK-47 is, but a small version of it. With that, we have identified that as the murder weapon. This case is still ongoing. No one has been charged. We do believe we have the person of interest is the right person. However, we're still working through the case to bring charges. The thing with that we want to say is there's no ongoing threat to the community. The motive behind this series of shootings is still being investigated. But if not for the bravery of the police officers assigned to District 2 to include PFC Heyman, this individual would not have been apprehended as fast as they were, and we don't know what the other outcomes could be from that. So with that, I will turn it over to the county executive, and then we'll take some questions.
Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you to both our Chief, George Nader, and Assistant Chief, George Nichols. I also want to thank all of the Prince George's County police officers who put their lives on the line every single day. PFC Heyman, thank you. You know, when we talk about protecting and serving and going into places where no one else will want to go, when you hear shots being fired, oftentimes most of us will want to run the other way. But our officers are duty bound to run towards threats and to ensure that our community is safe. And as a result of their bravery, our community is safer. You know, it is always disappointing to lose lives, especially young lives. And the events surrounding the triple homicide are unbelievably sad. And so while our job, and we will absolutely focus on getting justice, and we believe we will achieve justice, we also mourn for the families, all of them who have lost someone. So what I will say is that establishments in Prince George's County have to be responsible. They have to be responsible. And I can tell you that our chief of police, George Nader, is very serious about enforcing the law. And when establishments don't comply with the law, or they present an environment that could result in incidents like the one that happened, then we have to do our part as government to see that they don't operate in ways that make our community less safe. And so as of today, our chief is making sure that Irving's is closed. They will have due process. They will have a hearing to determine whether or not and under what conditions they can reopen. But we are very serious about holding everyone accountable and responsible. And while the individuals, obviously, who own Irving's, we're not saying that they participated in the shooting themselves, having establishments open that late at night without security is a problem. And it's a problem that will not be tolerated in Prince George's County. So all establishments need to be on notice. And if you're not on notice, this is your notice, that we will shut you down, that you must have a security plan on file with the Prince George's County Police Department, that you must have operating cameras inside and outside of your establishments, and that you have to take responsibility for the activities that go on at your establishments. So that's important to note here. As far as the shooting that took place behind the LA Fitness, that was a very sad incident. At this time, there's really no indication that the person of interest and the victim in that case knew each other, or that the person of interest knew any of the other individuals that were shot or attempted to be shot. And so those types of incidents are the most concerning, because you're talking about potentially perfect strangers. But what I will say is that there is no ongoing threat here in Prince George's County because of the work of our police department. I can't say enough how incredibly proud I am of the men and women who make up this department. We can't prevent every incident, but what we can do is be present and show our community that we're serious about getting the job done. And that's what happened in this case. So now we will turn all of this over to our amazing State's Attorney, Tara Jackson, who will be speaking next. But just again, to the community, our hearts go out to all of you, those who've lost someone, those who live in the communities where these incidents took place. We want you to know that Prince George's County is a safe place to live, to work, to play. That incidents do happen, unfortunately, but when they happen, we're on top of it, and we will seek and get justice. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Of course, my condolences do go out to the families of all of the victims that were lost over the holiday weekend. As the county executive says, it's disappointing, especially after we celebrated, and we continue to celebrate a good year last year as it relates to the work that this public safety team has accomplished. A 40% drop in homicides is nothing to, we shouldn't take that lightly. But obviously one murder is too many murders. And certainly 3 murders is too many murders. And so our hearts go out to the victims. The role of the state's attorney, of course, is different than that of our sworn officers on the street. But I do want the public to know that we continue to work with our police department from the moment a crime like this occurs, providing the necessary legal advice that aids them in their investigations to bring people to justice. As it relates to the triple homicide that occurred, there is obviously a person that's been charged, and it is in Virginia, and that person is facing an extradition hearing. He has a right to waive that extradition hearing and agree to be returned to Prince George's County to face his charges. And if he doesn't waive it, then there'll be a hearing that is had in Virginia. Once he comes to Prince George's, we will, per usual, have a bond hearing, and then our office will make decisions around what the appropriate charges are to present to the grand jury. And as it relates to the person of interest in the homicide that occurred and shootings that occurred on January 4th, we will continue to assist our police partners in every way possible to make sure that the appropriate person is charged and brought to our office for to be held accountable. And I want to just say to the public, that's our job, to make sure that after persons are charged and brought to the state's attorney's office, that we do everything in our power to make sure that we're holding them accountable to the greatest extent under the law. You cannot wreak this kind of havoc in our community and expect to go unpunished. And we're going to do everything possible, along with this phenomenal team, to make sure that there is justice in these cases. Thank you.
Prior to taking questions, for the men and women of the Prince George's County Police Department, from our District 2 officers to the District 4 officers that responded to the scene, from this Criminal Investigations Division that works around the clock, the Gun Crimes Unit and the Homicide Unit, and the men and women that work in our forensic labs, that come together and partner with our law enforcement jurisdictional partners to bring closure to cases, go into dangerous situations and handle scenes and see a lot of things that normal people in society wouldn't have to see. I would say for that, you're heroes. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do for our community. With that, open it up for any questions that you may have.
Yes. Yes. Lionel, WSA 9. This is a two-part question. First off, in regards to the triple homicide, are you all expecting to make more arrests in connection to that shooting?
It is possible that we make more arrests, but we'll explore that with the state's attorney. We do know we have the main person responsible for the murder in custody.
All right. And the second thing I wanted to ask you is State's Attorney Jackson brought up earlier, last year we were just talking about, a significant drop in the amount of homicides. And now just over this past weekend, 4 homicides. How frustrating is that for you all to be starting the year off like this?
And I think the word frustrating might not be the word. I think the word heartbreaking is more the word, because kind of what we said in the past press conference too is any loss of life is tragic, and to have to see it over and over again, it becomes really heartbreaking to see young lives taken too soon, and especially when it's surrounding so much gun violence. When we look at the work that was done by Prince George's County Police Department last year, just under 900 arrests for illegal guns, just under 1,500 guns recovered. So there are a lot of guns out there. Far too many people carrying guns, far too many people confident enough to carry guns. So the work that these officers do day in and day out to keep us safe, I think that's what I look at, and that's what brings me purpose, to keep our community safe. So I think frustrating looking at numbers, more heartbreaking looking at people.
Bob Barnhart.
Chief. Sorry, Chief. Bob with Fox 5. Do we know what kind of party was happening, and are the people involved in the Irvings, were they related? Were they friends? Why the gunfire?
We do know that it was a birthday party. The relation to everybody there, we don't know exactly. We do know it was not an event that we believe was open to the public, though, so it was an invite. So I would assume people knew one another in some form or fashion.
Sparked the gunfire?
We exactly don't know what started the dispute inside, still under investigation.
We understand the gentleman you arrested apparently just like shot the victim.
That's what we believe happened, yes. And I would like to thank the members of the media, because we know that you guys had information that you could have released that would have jeopardized this case, and you didn't. So for that, we say thank you so much, because it's important to keep that information confidential until it's time to release it. So we really appreciate that. And it was a brutal murder.
Chief, with regard to it's a loud mic, with regard to the other case, the man, the 65-year-old,
Yes, sir.
and 2 others who may have been stranger to the shooter, that's a highly unusual thing. Is this a case of some sort of a sniper, someone running around randomly shooting people? Was there any?
So we don't think
Three. Were all of the 3 unrelated? So like the man and the woman, were they unrelated to each other as well?
They were all 3 unrelated to one another. We don't think it was a DC sniper type incident, but we do believe one individual was responsible for all of those shootings. The motive behind it, we're still looking at. We're looking at that there may be robberies, but there may be some some other significance that comes up with this individual as we explore a little bit more into their history.
But you have him and you have what you believe is the murder weapon in each of the 3 shootings.
We have the person we believe responsible, person of interest in custody. We have the weapon that was used in the homicide. We're just working through the case to see if we can come forward with charges. Pretty confident that we will.
Mike at WTOP. Talk a bit about this establishment and some of the, you said that they didn't have a security guard. Did they also not have security cameras? What are you confronting them about and closing them down for exactly?
So we have the right in Prince George's County to close a business in the interest of public safety. They were cited for several violations, CB 18 to be one of them. So we're going to close, and then they can come forward to the hearing examiner, who will make the determination as whether or not they're allowed to open again with stipulations that we'll put in place.
And with the random shootings that we just talked about that happened yesterday, do we have a rap sheet on the person of interest? Can you talk a bit about, do they have a criminal history?
Well, yes, the person that we have stopped right now that we have not charged with a crime does have a criminal history.
Jasmine, the Washington Post. Thank you, Chief. To that question, is the person of interest from this area? Could you speak to that?
The person that we have stopped right now is from this community, correct?
Thank you. And then two-part, the suspect in the other shooting, did they also have a criminal history or were they known to police at all?
The one that we arrested with murder has a criminal history.
Chief, just a quick clarification on the Proctor victim.
Yes.
Was he also a part of the group that decided to go have a gunfight? I believe you said a gunfight.
We have no evidence that Mr. Proctor had a gun on him at any time.
Okay.
He was actually trying to render aid to somebody that was shot.
Okay, so he was, how would you describe that?
A victim of a murder.
Okay, so he wasn't involved in whatever dispute was going on, as far as you know?
As far as we know, if he was involved, he did not have a gun. He was not armed.
Can you describe that scene outside of Tiger Ball? This Wild West kind of shooting.
Yes, it was. I mean, it was, as you can imagine, 3 people murdered. It was a pretty chaotic scene. It was chaotic when the officers got there. They were able to stabilize it. We called in additional resources to come in the system. And then the homicide unit came in and did an outstanding job piecing everything together and finding the person responsible. We don't believe there were more than 3 guns involved, but we're also looking at everything now.
So the victim, Mr. Proctor, would you describe him as an innocent bystander in this situation, or?
I would say he didn't appear to have anything to do with the shootout. So yes.
Okay, and then also regarding the club or banquet hall, what have you, private party, any indication that the owners or this establishment has been involved in other incidents of violence?
We
in
haven't
the
had
past?
anything at this location. We believe this establishment has been there for about 5 years. We've responded to a few fights, but nothing of this magnitude, no shootings, no homicides.
And you believe that second incident, these were random victims,
Yes.
correct?
Absolutely.
Chief Liberty Simmons from DC News Now. So does that bring us to 4 homicides of 2026?
Yes,
Starting the new year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then for clarification on Proctor, what is the first name and proper spelling?
The first name for Proctor.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
County Executive Brayboy, it looks like you'd like to say something, and then I have a question. No? No? Okay. Oh, I saw you kind of, can I ask you about just the fact that we understand from the video, the people who were involved in the gunfight outside of Irving's did not have guns inside. They went to their cars and got the guns and then started. The fact that people resolve their disputes that way,
Yeah.
even if they know and are friends or family.
Well, let me just say this. We don't know exactly when the individuals involved obtained their guns. We don't know if they had them on their person or if they obtained them from the car. So I think all of that is still being investigated. But there is no dispute that's so significant that someone's life should be taken. In this instance, we believe that alcohol contributed to irrational thinking and behavior. not that it excuses anything that happened, but it also explains why it's really important for these establishments to abide by the law. Because if there are disputes, security should be there to address those disputes, both inside and outside of these establishments. Again, we're not suggesting in any way that the owners or employees of Irving's had anything directly to do with the incident. But what we are saying is that it is clear, because the council has passed laws to address these establishments, that keeping a safe establishment is critical to public safety. And what we believe at this time, and that is why our chief took the step to request that the establishment be closed, is that the establishment wasn't abiding by the rules and the laws, and the environment is such that these incidents could happen. And so you have laws to try to prevent deaths, prevent violence. And so it's heartbreaking because all of these folks are much younger than me. They're very young. And so they had really the rest of their lives to really do something positive. They are sons, brothers, nephews, all of those things. These are human beings who are no longer with us because they got in a dispute. We believe everyone kind of knew each other because they were there for a birthday party celebrating someone who they all knew. So at this time, we don't have any information to suggest that this was a plan. It seems like that something occurred possibly during the event, and it spilled out outside in the parking lot, and it resulted in the death of 3 people. It's just unbelievable, unthinkable, and my heart goes out to everyone who was there that night who had to witness it. I mean, because literally there are 3 people who probably everyone knew who didn't get to go home that night. A lot of the reason was their choices, right? Because we have 2 people who we believe shot at each other and killed each other. That's what it appears to be at this time. And then 1 person who decided to shoot and kill another at point blank range. So he's going to have to account for that and be held accountable for that. And I know our state's attorney pretty well, and I'm pretty sure I know what her intent is, and that is to get justice. And that's what we are all going to be pushing for at this time. But we're asking everyone, please, if you have a dispute with someone else, we're going to have disputes, but there are other ways to resolve them. If you pick up a weapon, you may end your life and someone else's life. So it's not just the person who you have a dispute with whose life might be over. It's yours too. Because when you choose to kill someone, we have no choice but to seek tough and appropriate penalties. And sometimes that may be spending your life behind bars. And we don't have a lot of sympathy for that because you had other choices. You could just walk away. And viewing what we have viewed, people could have just walked away, but they didn't. They chose to engage. And now we have 3 dead people.
I have one more question.
So I say the appeal to the community is please leave the guns at home. You know, there's other ways to solve disputes. You don't have to turn to a gun. And then, as always, if you have information about these crimes or any other crime, please contact Crime Solvers at 1-800-411-TIPS. You can remain anonymous, but we look forward to getting any information regarding this.
I just have one more question. I believe County Executive Bradboy alluded to it earlier, but what would you say to those business owners in the community that have establishments where people, frequent and meet and fellowship and everything, that they can't really control what happens outside their doors once they close their business?
You have to abide by the policies in the county code. You have to abide by the laws. You have to do what you can to keep people safe. If you have a proper safety plan, that helps. If it's something that is uncontrollable, we see that too. But what we look at in law enforcement is any inability to prevent a crime, by being proactive, cameras, security, monitoring the events, really investing back into your properties. That's what we look for. That's what we try to be proactive, and we ask people to be proactive along with us. And we're in this journey with you. So work with us, and we'll be happy to work with you to help make a safer community for everybody. With that, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.